Or to the cloud. Hey, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. This is Lovely with the Financial Griot podcast. We have a shorts and we're talking about financial revolution. So I'm going to give it to Lawrence because Lawrence is ranting and we didn't record anything. And then so we were like, maybe we should make this into a short and this is going to be fire. So Lawrence, just go off and then I'll wrap it up towards the end. But this is your shorts. You guys enjoy it.
Let's see if I can go off. My goodness. Like, it's just like, hey, just start ranting on demand. Well, First and foremost, thanks to everybody for actually joining us on the Financial Griot. My name is Lawrence Delva-Gonzalez, otherwise known as the neighborhood finance guy on the interwebs. Ultimately, I be in these spaces, I bees, and that's like grammatically incorrect on purpose. So I stay on the clubhouse to kind of listen to get an understanding of where the black and brown zeitgeist is. And as far as I've ever known it to be, zeitgeist being just the mentality, the understanding, the wavelength, the idea of where a lot of people are is that there is a due of a reparation. And I've always stated this, and I'll always say this, that even people are desperate for this reparation that will never come. And even if it comes, right, by the time they realize it'll be 2025 where nothing has happened and you still be, still there holding the bag, hoping that somebody gives you money or opportunities. But at the end of the day, the game has changed. It's no longer about 40 acres and the mules. Even today, if I gave you 40 acres and a mule, you wouldn't know what to do with it. You'd likely end up killing the mule and even selling the home. And then ultimately, it'll just be a pass-through opportunity for another organization, another community, another set of people to actually just take your money. The goal here is not the 40 acres and the mule. It's just better time and money management. In truth, time is the only limited resource that you have in the world. Everybody has time. Some people pass away sooner or later, but at the end of the day, the only limited resource that everybody wish that they had more of is time. And Black people, especially young Black men, we're wasting a lot of time, either time on social media, either time yelling at each other, playing video games, going on Twitter, going back and forth with people. In the end of the day, you're not clocking in. The best resource that you have is your time. That means you're not making any money because in truth, the game that you're playing today is about financial revolution. In the past, and we had to go in the past, talk about the whole redlining, slavery, and all that good stuff. Not good stuff. Ultimately, bad stuff that happened to us. It's not to negate what happened in the past because it is our past. You cannot negate it. It happened. You cannot move back on it. You cannot take it away. It is what it is. Yeah, Tulsa happened. The Wall Street happened. Different bombings happened. Different lynchings happened. You cannot take that away. Go to the African History Museum in Washington, D.C. There's an entire lobby for that. Like, there's literally books, records. It's in the history book. That's not the point. The game that you're playing now is a game for the future. You're battling for the future, and it's all based on financial literacy and the financial literacy revolution. Like, your parents had to give up on their bodies as far as to really, our great-grandfathers, right, our ancestors. They gave up of their bodies involuntarily to support this community that we have, this industry that we have called America. It's here. It's there. The society is set up. It's unfortunate, but it's there. Our parents' generation, a lot of people that took upon themselves a lot of emotional turmoil, a lot of emotional trauma, went through the civil rights, pushed through legislation, did a lot of protesting to get it to the stage that we're in now. Other people opened the doors for education, at least widespread education for a lot of people to have access to this information until the point where the internet exploded to the internet of all things. You have everything on there. You could Google it, you could YouTube it, you could listen to podcasts. All of that is available, and sometimes not even on the computer, not on the desktop, not on a laptop, but even on your own phone. So it's available to everybody at all times. And now, in this day and age, in this moment that we're living in, it's about understanding financial literacy and doing better money management. I don't care how much money you make. If you're not managing it well or better than the next person, you could end up broke. And if you're not teaching those concepts to your kids, I guarantee you, even if you become rich, they said by the next generation, 70% of it is lost. By the second generation after that, your grandkids, I believe by the second generation beyond you, and 90% of the wealth that you built will be lost if you haven't taught it well and if you haven't structured it well. So at the end of the day, the moment that you live in today is about financial literacy, understanding. So whatever money you're making, if it's 40K, 50K, 70K, solo, 100K, I don't care how much you're making. If you're not managing it well, you're going to be blowing your money away. A lot of people, I don't care. I could give you tons of reports, tons of Excel sheets, things that you won't read. Let's be real. You won't read them. You haven't read them. They've been around for over 30, 40 years. You haven't read them. Why? Because you haven't really cared to do so. It's available for you. You could actually research it. You could read it for yourself. And if you don't want to do it, just say you don't want to do it. But I'm telling you this now, based on the research that we've seen, majority of people spend almost 50 to 62% of their after-tax income on food, transportation, and housing. Majority of that is over leveraged. That means they wrapped into their needs a lot of their wants. So therefore, all their numbers should be radically reduced. So almost about like for housing, it should be 25%. For transportation, it should be 8%. And for food, it should be 5%. But we've over pushed every level, and now we're broke for it. The reason why people are dying broke, people are super woke, super educated, super understanding of everything, but they literally don't have any money because they're mismanaging the money that they have. How do you know that? Because the numbers and stats are there. I don't care who you are. I could look at your numbers. I could tell you exactly where you're mismanaging it from. I don't give it, I was going to say I was on a curse, but ultimately I'm not going to do that. Ultimately, I'm just letting you know, in the end of the day, the game that you're playing now is not a game of moral superiority. The idea that somebody is supposed to just give you money because they have too much of it. The idea that somebody's supposed to just open the door for you and give you opportunities. That's not what this game is. Everybody's playing for themselves. This is a selfish game. This is a game of you, for yourself, for your family, for your community first. I don't care which community you belong to, but that's how every other community is playing. If you're not playing on that level, then you're not playing the right game. That means you're failing at the game called life. So ultimately, that's my little bit of rant if you want to kind of go from there. But you wanted me to rant out, and that
was a good rant. Well, these shorts that we're trying to add to the podcast is for the sake of like getting a quick information and insight on some things. And I think one thing I'll double down on, and we'll wrap up the shorts, is with financial management, time management, and waiting for the opportunity. I was just talking to Lawrence right before we started recording this let's talk about like salary real quick, right? Where people are like, well, people need to pay me my worth. And you don't even understand how it works, right? You talk about worth, but you don't know how it works in terms of career design. And sometimes you might walk into a job experience and it's going to give you the experience and the leverage for you to actually move and pivot to a next job that is going to pay you well. But sometimes you're at entry level. Like the facts are, you are at the entry level. You need to get the experiences. You need to be able to double down on the experiences that you have so that you can be able to leverage getting a higher paying job in the long run. But if we only talk about the essence of getting more money without management of money, it doesn't matter. Someone could be making way less than you, like $30,000, $40,000 less than you in a year, but in 20 years, outpace you in earning, outpace you in investments because of how they're allocating their funds. What we're saying is that today, you need to pull up your information, pull up your numbers, and stop putting the blame on just what's happening in the society. No one is saying that there's not elements in society that cause delays for people that are quote unquote disadvantaged, but we talked about this all the time, that the stats show that in America, quote unquote, minorities are on pace to overthrow the majority in terms of how many people. However, we do need to figure out how do we get our piece of the pie, because it's not going to be given to us. No one is handing you over the pie. No one's opening the doors, as Lauren said, which is very true. We need to learn how to create tables instead of waiting to be invited to one. These are important things that we can double down on so that as a community, as a collective of people, we can literally be able to get out of the hole. It's a deep hole when you look at the stats, when it comes to health, when it comes to how we manage our funds. There's so many things going on, but until we look at in our mirror and figure out what are the things that we can do, because although the thing that happened in Tulsa is real, it made me realize, you know how bad it was. And yet there was a group of Black people that was able to obtain something that people wanted to break down. Like, that's a big deal because they were really in a situation where they shouldn't have been able to create their own, but they did. It is unfortunate what happened. It is definitely terrible. We're not discounting these things, but we need to talk about what does a new age Tulsa looks like all over the United States, all over the world. What is a new age of Black people coming out of the ground, really doubling down, understanding that a lot of money is also psychology. How you perceive money has a lot to do with how you think about things. A perspective of lack, the perspective of not having enough can also keep you from doing things that are going to take you to the next level. One of the things I've been struggling with that I'm like breaking apart, I don't want to just be a business that makes some money. And I'm okay with that. I want to really impact industries. And that means billions, that's trillions, different numbers. I'm not even thinking about the M's anymore. I'm thinking about the B's and the T's. And then guess what? If in 10 years you see me on Forbes and I got to be like, $1 billion or $1 trillion or whatever else, you're going to call me a greedy capitalist too. I'm going to be the bad person. I'm going to be the person like, yeah, she sold out. She's not down with the community. But I'm telling you right now, I will be fine. I'll be fine with all those messages because the goal isn't to stay the same. And it's not to make everybody comfortable. And I want most of us to understand that dying in the struggle or bearing the struggle as an S on our chest is not attractive. It's not good for our community. I think some of us can be very woke, but not necessarily understanding that you have to show fruit of this awakeness, of this quote unquote, I am alive and I know better. There needs to be fruit. How's your family? How's the way you treat people? How's your finances? How's your health? What is the progress you're making? Getting online and spewing that what the white man is doing and all these different things, but behind closed doors, you are not practicing what you're preaching. You're not awake. You're just a sleeping person that is just like a zombified, doing things like a little zombie, not alive. And it sounds harsh, but it's going to help you. I don't want you to talk the talk. I want you to walk it where you don't have nothing to prove. A lot of the reasons why we walk into rooms and we're not, it's because there's nothing to prove. I'm on my journey. I'm taking it bit by bit. Lawrence is on his journey. He's taking it bit by bit. Atlantis on her journey, taking it bit by bit. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to see our community actually come alive and not just saying that we are aware of what's happening to us. Yes, charge your worth, but understand the game. Yes, understand that you're not necessarily going to get all the promotions in the world, but you need to be able to present for yourself. You need to be able to articulate your value to the bottom line of the company. You can't there's so much entitlement. We're entitled to a lot of things, but are not behind the scenes, literally really putting in work. And so if you're really awake, you need to also put in work for yourself and the collective of our community. And the only way you can do that is actually by doing the work and being part of the game. And that's it for me. I think that's a pretty good rant.
I don't know. I still got a little bit left here.
Lawrence said he got.
I'm gonna tag this. I recently posted something called it's a newspaper clipping. It says 400 of the wealthiest family paid an average of tax rate of 8.2%. People are mad. People talking and clicking and sharing, and I'm looking at them like, you know what? And what, man? Like, I don't care how much the other person is paying for their taxes. I need to figure out how much can I not pay for my taxes too, because this tax game has no color. It has no perspective on that. If you read the tax codes, they don't care what color you are, as much as you fall into those lines and you actually doing it effectively, efficiently, and also legally. 100% legal. It's tax avoidance. It's not illegal to do though. It's basically opportunity for you to do the best for yourself. And I actually looked up all my taxes. In 2025, my tax rate was 25%. However, my effective tax rate that I ended up paying is 7.97, which is better than the rich people. 2016, tax rate 25% again. I paid an effective tax rate of 6.43%. 2017, 6.67%. 2018, because I made more money. And tax code kind of changed. I ended up paying an effective tax rate of 8.59%. 2019, 7.60%. 2020, 11.40%. Why? Because I got married. I'm just looking at everybody like, yo, check this out. There's an opportunity to game the system. It's not black, white. It's not upside down. It's not against you. It's just you. You have to be willing to learn. A lot of these super woke people, and I swear, man, they be on that Clubhouse going nuts about, oh, this is unfair. This is this and that. This is, well, just say you don't know. You will be better off by just saying, hey, I don't know, and I really need to learn. Just to learn what somebody else is doing. And maybe you start realizing you could do it too. Maybe you start realizing that you need to put in a little bit more effort so you can know too. Because not the other person that you should be worried about. It's the fact that you're not doing anything that should be more concerning to you. That's it. Is it wrong that they have opportunities? But is it wrong that you don't use your own opportunities? I think it's more wrong that you don't use your own, in my opinion. But do you? If you want to be super woke and super broke, go ahead, because you could be super smart, spew every kind of quote, every kind of like report. I'm telling you right now, you don't even know what the hell you're reading. Half the time people grab these reports and they go off of these words and they go off the headlines, they go off the top topic, but they don't understand what it means. I remember when they dropped the thing that says black people spending power is like $1 trillion or $2 trillion. I don't care what trillion it was. And people were like, yeah, we got spending power, man. Yeah, you see how much spending we could do? Yeah. I'm looking at them. That's a bad thing. Do you understand what you read? Do you understand what you freaking read? That means you as a person, you as a community, even though our community is the poorest community as far as wealth, we are outspending other communities. Why? Because we don't know how to manage our money. That's not a good thing. When you see that kind of stats, that's not a good thing. That's not to be lauded as a positive. It's not an opportunity for you to just kind of go down the streets like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, this is not great. That means you don't know how to use your money well. And this is why our community is staying the way that they are. Until we understand information that we're reading, we won't understand where it's coming from. One of the things that really ticked me off is the public student loan forgiveness report that dropped. An article posted says 99% of people are not getting approved for this program. And people were mad. People was like, aha, I told you so. I'm like, one, you didn't even read what it said. Read the article and then read the actual report. When you read the report, you find that the 90% of people that didn't get this approval was because they didn't even sign up. I want to question you how you even do this report and get away with making this blatant statement where people that even sign up are saying that I didn't get it because you didn't sign up. You just didn't sign up for it. People that didn't make a payment are mad. They're kind of people that didn't even make payments in there as far as why they didn't get it. I'm like, you didn't get it because you didn't make no payments. Like, oh, you skipped payments. You didn't have the job eligibility. All this stuff you're supposed to read, but yet they had to post a different retraction audit report where they explain all the different details. But did people read that report? No, it exists. It still exists in the world. They did another report after that. Still this day, and now they do the whole revamp, and people was like, yeah, they're revamping it. Revamping it for what? They're revamping it to say the exact same thing that it said before. If you're not in the program, you're not going to get this money. What's wrong with you people? Read this stuff. We literally have a big issue in America today. And I've said it time and time again. It's not about your political leaning. It's not about what you care or discare about. It's not your morality. It's not about you gay, lesbian, straight, uppercutted, alien. That's not none of that. The biggest issue we have in America today is an education crisis. Because people are not learning anything when they're going through the school system. They're not retaining what they learn, or they're not manipulating what they learn to understand what knowledge truly is. Knowledge is about taking in information, processing it, adding thought and critical thinking to it, and sending it back out into the world because you understand it. 9 times out of 10, people don't understand what they're studying anymore. They're just taking it in, pushing it back out, and hoping to get a grade. I went to college. I was the idiot. We'll have an entire podcast on this. I was the idiot that went to college, barely made 2.7, graduated undergrad, and didn't really finish grad school. Not because I wasn't smart in my head. That's not what this problem is. It's because when I went to school, I actually went to school to challenge myself. I was in classes, and after I was done with the class, it was like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. I was in chemistry honors or like bio 2. It's like, the people in there is like, I'm in bio 2 because I have to do it for med school. I'm like, I thought we were supposed to be here. I didn't know what's going on. Half the time I was just literally picking out courses that I thought was challenging and I could actually get into, even if I didn't do the best grades or whatever. But people were manipulating their way through college to not really challenge themselves. As crazy as it is, people were literally manipulating their way to college, so they never really challenged themselves so they could get the grades so they could advance to the next level. In that moment, I didn't know what game I was playing. I literally didn't know what game I was playing. I messed that up. And I'm here to tell you right now that a lot of, Black and brown people, not just Black people, but brown people as well, in the same sphere or whatnot, we don't know what game we're playing. This game right now is about financial literacy. If you don't understand the game, then you're not going to be winning. When I see articles that says the investment, the stock market is rigged, yeah, it is rigged for people that are actually invested to win. What else if you're not invested, you don't have any dollars in there, what do you expect? You expect somebody to just give you $1,000 and just call it what it is? Like, no, I made this week alone on the stock market. I think I pulled in about $5,000 just for the week. And I didn't do anything. It's just like the value of my money went up $5,000. That's it. I didn't touch anything. I didn't add nothing new. It just went up. Next week, hopefully, we're going to keep letting this thing ride up. Golden Sachs dropped their estimate for the rest of the year. It says plus 9%. Is it rigged? It's rigged if you're in the game. If you're not playing the game, you're on the sideline, you're complaining, of course you're losing because you're not even playing. You got no money in the game. You got no stake in it. And therefore, the person that didn't work at all at it, do they deserve anything? So you mean to tell me because you're on the sideline complaining, you just want money. You want things. You know what? Keep hoping for your 40 acres and a mule. And I hope you get it because I don't think you really know how real work is. Because working the farm is not, hanging around, playing video games. That's not the game. It's all, you don't want that kind of smoke. I worked at FedEx pushing boxes for 4 hours. You don't want that smoke. I was in the Marine Corps, like literally doing work, day in, day out. You don't want that smoke. You want that 40 acre. I hope you get your 40 acre mule because I know you're going to freaking die off of the amount of work and the amount of effort that you got to do to actually make something grow from the land that you have. Either you do it today or tomorrow. You still got to make something grow from the land that you have. Did you get that? I don't know, I'm just dropping some words in there. Did you get that? Did you understand what I meant? You still, in the end of the day, get money or don't get money, you still have to work with what you have. And I'm done with my rant. Whew.
Ooh, that was a lot pent up in these shorts. Ooh, I don't even know what I'm going to title this.
We're gonna get canceled. I'm telling you, we're gonna get canceled. It's gonna be you don't even know why anymore. It's like you get canceled. We're like, well, I guess it had to happen at some point.
Yeah, at some point, one of these episodes got us killed.
Well, one of these it's like it's not good for Black Twitter. They're not gonna like it.
It's not. Oh man,
they're gonna be really sensitive.
These recordings are gonna come back. I'm telling you. But I wanted to plug in something really, really simple for you guys. You probably gonna be like, what are you talking about? But I don't know if you ever heard of Khan Academy. And it has like free learning tools. I would suggest, because they also have like life skills. They actually have a personal finance section, which is like saving and budgeting, interest and debt, investments in retirement, income and benefits, housing, car expenses, taxes, paying for college, keeping your information safe, all these different things. And they also have like things to navigate your career. The reason why I'm mentioning it is it's like, there's also YouTube as well. There's so much. I'll say this, and then after that, we can close it short. We are living in a time that things are democratized. They are decentralized. You literally can go and put in YouTube right now, how to budget, enter. And not one video, not two videos, not three. But I understand how the human mind works. Because these things are no longer scarce, there's a thought process that, well, it'll always be there. But remember how compounding interest works. Remember how anything compounding works. The longer you take to start, the less and less and less it becomes. So my suggestion is learn to block off time. That is what I do. I'm always reading. I'm always researching. One of the reasons why I will later on be super, super successful in business will not be because I'm the best businesswoman. It will not be because I have the best finesse. I have patience. And the reason why I said patience is I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to put something out, see, and I have this thought process called zero is data. Everything that we do in the team. I don't care if we didn't get a client. I don't care if we didn't close this week. That data is telling us something. Your life is telling you something right now. It's either telling you you're not doing a good job of managing me. So that's why you're super stressed. That's why you don't feel happy. That's why you're depressed. You might need to manage differently. You might need to do something different. Use things like Khan Academy, YouTube to tap in, because before our parents didn't have that. So it was really like they're working $5 jobs and that's what it is. And unless they try to climb out, and a lot of them tried their best to do what they have to do something better. And some did and some didn't. But we really, in our generation, you talking about wealth transfer? You talking about like gaining access? You have so much tools at your hand, but you have to use it. So go to Khan Academy. They literally have a whole personal finance section. Learn the basics. Learn the basics of taxes. Stop paying somebody $300-$400 to do something you could do yourself. Learn. I think I'm going to end this short with just saying, learn, challenge yourself. Learn. But, take this part of the recording and put it before you go to sleep. Learn. You know what your life can be in 5 years. That's what I'm telling myself right now, because we've been investing in this business. We have a big ideas. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but I know that we're not crazy. We're paying attention to the market. We're willing to take the risk. And I can't wait to share the story. Like, at all. Because personal finance, entrepreneurship, whether you have your 9-to-5, whether you're an investor, like Lawrence has his corporate job, but Lawrence is on track to just outpace what he makes in a year in his investments every year. Okay? So it is what it is. So we'll close this out. Thank you for listening to the Financial Griot podcast, powered by the Wealth Builders Collective.